Okay, so when I say yoga, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably stretching, right? Bending into different poses? Well, what if I told you that's just scratching the surface? Today, we're going to dig into what this ancient practice is really all about. It's a journey that began thousands of years ago in India, and honestly, it might just change how you think about your yoga mat forever. So let's dive right in.
So yeah, for most of us, yoga equals a workout. You get a good stretch, maybe break a little sweat, hold some tricky poses. And don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic workout. But is that really it? Is that the whole story? The material we're looking at today suggests there's something way, way deeper going on here.
So here's the official definition we're working with. Yoga is a physical, mental, and spiritual discipline. It's not just about the body. And that word, discipline, that's super important. It tells us this is a structured path, a method you follow to get somewhere specific, which, makes you wonder, what's the goal? What are we trying to attain here? That's exactly what we're going to unpack.
All right, section 1, an ancient practice today. And the subtitle here is perfect. From sages to the living room. I mean, think about it. How did something that was once only for these wise ancient figures end up in our everyday lives? Let's take a look at that journey.
Man, the history of yoga is just huge. We're talking roots that go back several thousand years in India with these incredible saints and sages. You've got these ancient texts like the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which really lay out the whole philosophy. But here's the wild part. It's what's happened in just the last few decades that's so mind-blowing. It's had this worldwide awakening, it's been reoriented for our modern lifestyles, and now, get this, it's so globally accepted that the UN even has an International Day of Yoga on June 21st. I mean, what a journey.
And that really says it all, doesn't it? Today, yoga is no longer restricted to just hermits, saints, and sages. What used to be this really exclusive, high-level practice is now for everybody. It's in our gyms, it's on our phones, it's part of our daily lives. That's a pretty amazing transformation.
Okay, next up, the core principles of yoga. And the big question is, what makes it unique? We know it's more than a workout, but why? What actually separates yoga from just, doing some stretches at the gym? Let's get into the specifics.
All right, so there are 7 key characteristics here that really define yoga. First, it exercises not just your big skeletal muscles, but those deep-seated ones too. It also uses your own internal pressure in your chest and abdomen to do its work. And check this out. It involves very little spending of energy or money. It's accessible to literally everyone, rich, poor, men, women, any age. But here's the big one, the one that ties it all together. All schools of yoga, no matter how different they seem, share the exact same aim, control of the mind. And finally, the practice is psychoneurophysical in nature, and all the different yogic practices are designed to be complementary. That's a lot to take in, but that mind part, that's the real key.
So, that big word from the last slide, psychoneurophysical. What on earth does that mean? It sounds super technical, right? But it's actually a really beautiful concept. It just means it's designed to connect 3 things that we usually think of as totally separate. Your mind, that's the psycho part, your nervous system, the neuro, and of course your body, the physical. It's all about bringing them together to work as one.
So that leads us to our next section, poses, a practical guide. This is an introduction to asanas. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you connect the mind, nervous system, and body? Well, that's where the part of yoga everyone knows comes into play, the physical poses. They're called asanas, and we're about to take a closer look.
So, what are asanas? In short, they're the physical postures of yoga. But, and this is a big but, they're not just about making cool shapes with your body. Each one is a specific tool. They're designed with a purpose, whether it's to help with health problems, seriously reduce your stress levels, or, and this is a big one, make your spine supple and healthy.
A perfect example of this is the sun salutation, or Suryanamaskara. Now, this isn't just one pose. It's a whole sequence, a flow of 12 positions linked together. You move through a series of poses, like the prior pose, raised arms, hand to foot, and so on, and then you essentially reverse the sequence on the way back. See how positions 1 and 12 are the same, and 2 and 11? It creates this beautiful, continuous loop that exercises your entire body.
And of course, the sun salutation is just one example. There are tons of asanas, and they all do different things. Take a look at this. You've got Vajrasana, which is amazing because it's one of the only poses you can do right after eating to help with digestion. Then there's Dhanurasana, which is all about your abdomen and back. And then there's Shavasana. Now, it looks like you're just lying down, right? But it's actually one of the most important poses for deep, deep relaxation for both your mind and body. It's way more than just a nap.
You start to notice a pattern with a lot of these poses, and that's a focus on flexibility. Poses for the spine are a huge deal. You have Chakrasana, the wheel pose, which is designed to make the spine supple, and Halasana, the plow pose, which makes it flexible and elastic. See the theme? In the philosophy of yoga, a healthy, flexible spine is everything. It's basically seen as the foundation for your overall health and energy.
Okay, let's move on. Beyond the physical pose. And the subtitle asks the million-dollar question. What's the ultimate goal? We've talked about the history, we've talked about the core ideas, we've looked at the poses, but this all leads us right back to where we started. If yoga is so much more than just a workout, what is it all for? What are we actually trying to achieve?
And here it is, the answer. The aim of all yoga is the same, the highest level of integration through the control of the modification of mind. So the final goal, it isn't to be able to do a perfect handstand or touch your toes. Those are just tools. The physical stuff is the path you walk, but the destination? That's your mind. The real goal is to learn how to control that constant chatter, all those thoughts that are always buzzing around in our heads.
This whole journey is about finding an experience of harmony or balance, and that path can eventually lead to something called samadhi. It's described as this incredible state of wisdom and complete integration. It's just a really powerful thought, isn't it? That all the physical stuff we do on the mat is actually a doorway to finding real inner peace. Which leaves us with a final question to think about. Yoga aims for inner balance. So beyond the stretching, beyond the strength, what might that really mean for you in your own life? What would finding that kind of harmony, that kind of control over your own mind actually feel like? That's the real heart of it all. Thanks so much for joining me today.